Tiffany just dropped receipts on Common, and all of a sudden, Mr. Smooth isn't looking so smooth anymore. Turns out she knew his thing with Jennifer Hudson wouldn't make it far before it went bust. But first, let's check out her own situation with Common. Now, Tiffany is a woman who's been around the block, knows the players, and sees the backstage moves nobody else notices. When she talks, people listen, and yeah, they sweat a little. Because this isn't just about Common. Tiffany delivered a controlled, strategic jab in her interview with the Washington Post. She said that the feelings in the breakup weren't mutual, which on the surface seems calm, but dig deeper, and it's a masterclass in narrative flipping. She doesn't scream or throw tantrums. She's measured, dry, and precise.
But we're talking about Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish sat down with the Washington Post, and she was talking about her relationship with Common. She said it was healthy, it was funny, it was probably one of the funniest relationships she's been in, it was safe. And then all of a sudden, it just didn't work. And it's not because of her. She said the feeling wasn't mutual, that they were together. And then all of a sudden, Common hit her with a text and said the relationship ran its course.
This approach of hers works like a roast because it exposes a contradiction without needing the theatrics of a stage. Common might have portrayed the split one way, polished for public perception, but Tiffany quietly undermines that image. It's the subtle clapback, the kind that makes readers pause, think, and maybe even chuckle at the audacity. Her words are sharp because they operate on multiple levels. By framing it as something as simple as not mutual, she shows the mismatch in feelings, quietly suggesting that Common's perspective might have been inflated or performative, and this girl is all about that narrative control. She isn't reactive, she's proactive. By speaking first, she set the tone for how the breakup is publicly understood. Even without a stage, there's humor. The understatement itself, calmly stating that the feelings weren't mutual, is inherently funny in a so obvious it hurts way. In other words, Tiffany turns a personal revelation into a social roast. No microphone, no audience clapping, just her wit, a public platform, and the power of phrasing. The impact was just like a good roast. It leaves a mark. Sharp, memorable, and endlessly replayable in conversation and social media. Later, she doubled down when she did her interview with Jason Lee and said how the people know exactly how she feels about the breakup. The comments tell it all.
What did you think about that?
The same thing everybody else was thinking in them comments.
But here's where Tiffany really shows she's playing chess, not checkers. Her roast wasn't just a quick jab, it was a full-on strategy session, delivered with style. Usually, when an ex throws shade, it's easy to write them off as bitter, but Tiffany flips the narrative. She owns the story, poking fun at Common's supposed slip-ups while making it hilarious. That reversal grabs attention and keeps everyone leaning in. It's smart, unexpected, and just a little savage. From commitment issues to rumored flings and ghosting moments, Tiffany doesn't just throw insults. She points out inconsistencies the public might have never known. It's like she's saying, "You think you got it all together? Let's see about that." This exposes vulnerability, gives the crowd major aha moments, and humanizes the story. When Tiffany dropped her truth bomb, Common had no choice but to watch the narrative shift. Suddenly, the image of him as the calm, collected ex, maybe even the better half in the split, was replaced by a subtle sense of awkwardness. He didn't respond publicly, which in itself became a talking point. In celebrity culture, silence is often louder than words. Fans and social media commentators dissect every pause, every delayed post, every absence of reaction. And that's exactly what happened here. And Tiffany, she didn't just walk away with receipts, she walked away with control. In a world where exes typically scramble to defend themselves or air grievances in real time, Tiffany set the tone. She turned her experience into a lesson in narrative power. You don't have to scream or throw hands to win a cultural debate. You just need strategy, timing, and the right platform. Speaking of narrative power, she also swerved the crowd and the overall opinion on Common's thing with Jennifer Hudson.
I've learned.
Yes.
Everybody don't need to be in your story. Let them tell you.
So.
But he didn't, like, that was a great relationship. So I, and then, like, this is like stuff that went,
Yeah.
Yeah,
hard
but his was a good
times.
relationship.
That was a good relationship.
Do you care that he's in another relationship with Jennifer Hudson?
No, I love Jennifer. I hope they having fun.
The wild part about this whole story is that Tiffany never actually came out and said Jennifer Hudson and Common wouldn't last. What she did instead was way more interesting. She layered her words so that people could take them however they wanted. On the surface, she played it cool and even supportive, saying, "I love Jennifer. I hope they're having fun. Girl, please." That sounds like love and light, right? Almost like she's brushing it off with a smile. But the moment she slipped in that bee from flower to flower comment, the internet instantly flipped it into shade. Suddenly, it wasn't just Tiffany showing grace. It was Tiffany giving Jennifer a public heads up about what she might be signing up for. That's where the confusion kicked in. Some fans swore Tiffany was being petty, trying to clown Common's ability to stay locked down. Others argued she was just speaking her truth, keeping it real about the type of man Common has always been. And honestly, both sides kind of have a point. Tiffany's the type of comedian who knows how to walk that fine line, make you laugh while still sneaking in the jab. She didn't have to flat out say, "It won't last," for people to feel like she was calling it. And when you add Jennifer Hudson into the mix, it gets even spicier. J. Hud isn't just another name on Common's dating list. She's an A-lister with a whole legacy. Grammys, an Oscar, her own talk show, and a reputation as one of the most grounded women in Hollywood. So when Tiffany said she loved Jennifer, it worked two ways. On one hand, it made her look classy, like she wasn't holding a grudge after her own split with Common. But on the other hand, it sounded almost like a passing of the torch, like Tiffany was saying, "She's amazing, but girl, good luck keeping him around." That's the kind of line that makes fans lean in and start rereading the quote a dozen times, trying to decide if it was genuine support or a subtle warning. And if we're keeping it real, Tiffany didn't pull that B comment out of nowhere. She knows his history better than anyone. Common has a dating resume that reads like a roll call of powerful women: Serena Williams, Erykah Badu, Taraji P. Henson, Angela Rye, and of course, Tiffany herself. All high profile, all talented, and none of those relationships ever seemed to make it to the finish line. So when Tiffany cracked that joke about him buzzing from flower to flower, it wasn't shade out of thin air. It was her pointing to a pattern that everybody else has already noticed. The man's got a reputation for being charming, committed for a season, but never really sticking around forever. That's why people couldn't resist spinning Tiffany's comments into a low-key prediction. Even though she never flat out said Jennifer and Common won't last, the context makes it sound like she was saying exactly that without needing to put it in so many words. It's the kind of slick move only someone with Tiffany's comedic timing could pull off. And of course, the internet did what it always does, took a little soundbite and blew it up into a headline, making it look like Tiffany was publicly forecasting the downfall of Jennifer Hudson's love life. Meanwhile, Jennifer herself has stayed completely silent on the whole thing, which honestly makes her look even more unbothered. She's got her own empire to run and doesn't need to play into the drama. Common hasn't really addressed Tiffany's comments either, but if you look at his interviews, you can see the little flashes of discomfort whenever someone brings up his dating history. It's like Tiffany cracked a joke that ended up sticking harder than he expected, because now every new relationship he steps into gets measured against that B image. The end result? Tiffany walked away from this breakup looking sharp, funny, and even kind of prophetic. Common came out looking like a man who can't shake his old habits. And Jennifer Hudson, whether she wanted it or not, became part of the conversation as the woman the world is now watching to see if Tiffany's subtle roast will end up coming true. Tiffany might not have said they won't last, but she set the stage so perfectly that fans are already waiting to see if she was right all along. The beauty of this moment is that it's far from over. Common might choose silence, a subtle response, or a clever public comment, but whatever he does, Tiffany's strategy ensures she's remembered as the one who set the tone. For Tiffany, this is a credibility and career win. For Common, it's a quiet challenge in the court of public opinion. The story also leaves fans speculating, will we see collaborations, friendly reconciliations, or more subtle jabs in interviews to come? That uncertainty keeps the audience invested, proving how a single calm statement can extend influence far beyond the original moment. Ultimately, Tiffany's move is about power, wit, and timing. It's not just a roast, it's a strategic maneuver, a subtle cultural lesson, and a narrative masterstroke. She's teaching the world, you don't need spectacle to make a statement. You just need clarity, humor, and confidence. And honestly, that's why this story is still buzzing months later.